Joining me now to discuss the proposal is Carol Browner. She's the director of the White House Office of Energy and Climate Change Policy. Ms. Browner, thank you very much for joining us. First of all, I think we have to get to the politics of this. I read some reaction today from House Republican leader John Boehner, as well as some reaction from environmental groups. Seems like nobody's happy with this proposal. How does the White House expect to get it through?
Well, first of all, this is a decision that was made by the Secretary of Interior, Ken Salazar, and it goes to Congress, but Congress doesn't have to vote on it. You know, this is one of these situations where some people are saying we went too far, others are saying we didn't go far enough. What the president has said from the beginning is we need a different energy future for this country. We need comprehensive energy plan, one that breaks our dependence on foreign oil, one that creates a whole new generation of clean energy jobs, and that's what we've been doing. Whether it's the first nuclear loan guarantee in 30 years, the biggest investment ever in wind and solar energy, or today's announcement, which will allow us to look for domestic oil and gas, which is important to breaking our dependence on foreign oil.
Ms. Browner, I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out the geographic allowances in this proposal, that on the East Coast some drilling is allowed, on the Pacific Coast it's not. Why are some areas marked for conservation and others are not?
This is a 5-year plan, and what you do in a 5-year plan is you consider which areas might be made available for leasing. And so, for example, in the Atlantic coast, the Secretary of Interior has said that he will undertake seismic and scoping activities in the mid-Atlantic, sort of from Maryland, if you will, down to the first part of Florida. When those activities are completed, then the next step in the process would occur, which might be leasing. If the environmental studies are such that leasing isn't appropriate, then they don't happen. He similarly said that off the coast of Florida and the Gulf of Mexico, there are some areas that have a lot of natural gas and oil in it, adjacent to existing areas being drilled, that those should be thought about and looked at and reviewed.
But it's already been determined that the Pacific is not appropriate, or that there's not enough there to make it worth drilling, or that they're environmentally sensitive?
The Pacific is not a part of this 5-year plan. It could be a part of subsequent plans. It is not a part of this 5-year plan. So some areas are a part of the plan, some areas are not a part of the plan.
But what I'm trying to get at is how is that determined? That's what I don't quite understand.
There are a number of factors that the Secretary of Interior must consider. He looks at existing infrastructure, what we know about the reserves. He looks at whether or not the states are supportive. And when he balances all of these factors, he made the determination that at this point in time, the West Coast would not be available, but other parts of the outer continental shelf would become available.
Now, as you talked about, the administration also is doing a lot in terms of trying to ramp up alternative energy and alternative fuels. Now, as that ramps up, will then the drilling that goes on be sort of tamped down?
Well, our hope is that we have a whole new energy future for this country, and we're doing everything in our power to make that happen. And we need a whole new generation of biofuels. We think that's hugely important. One of the announcements the president made today was the finalization of a rule by the Department of Transportation and the Environmental Protection Agency, which will require cars to achieve on average 35.5 miles per gallon. We also announced that we will purchase more hybrids for the federal fleet, more than 5,000. And so it's a combination of different fuels, domestic fuels, and different vehicles.
All right, Ms. Browner, unfortunately, we're out of time, but again, we thank you very much for joining us. That's Carol Browner with the White House. She is an energy advisor.